Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Madam, and I'm coming back to you once again. We're going to go over to We Got This Covered, and this is in the celebrities. It says Brad Pitt's charity shamelessly scammed Hurricane Katrina victims. It is 2025, and he's still paying the price. Mm-mm-mm. If I didn't mention earlier, this is in the celebrities column. It says Hurricane Katrina was one of the most profound ecological disasters in American history. And when Brad Pitt started a nonprofit called Make It Right Foundation, their first stated mission was building houses in New Orleans at the lower Ninth Ward, but the project ended up cutting corners considerably, putting the people affected by the hurricane in new health risks and legal repercussions have followed Brad Pitt and his foundation ever since. At first, everything seemed to be going great. Pitt used his considerable celebrity power to invite his celebrity friends to raise funds in a concert dubbed A Night to Make It Right. That night alone, they were able to raise $5 million. Through other means, they also raised almost 27 million, and by 2015, they had built 109 homes in New Orleans at an average cost of $250,000 per home. Then they then sold each house for $150,000. The houses initially looked glamorous and even became a tourist attraction for some time, but that didn't last long. Soon, new owners of the homes started complaining that the houses were forming mold, and that wasn't even the only issue. There was structural problems from plumbing to electricity to insufficient ventilation. So even despite the price cut between the construction cost and the purchase cost, some homeowners uh, understandably started feeling like they had been scammed. It's estimated that only 6 of the 109 houses were free of any defects. This eventually grew into a $20.5 million lawsuit against the foundation. According to Yahoo, at the beginning of 2025, the foundation suffered a considerable legal setback when the plaintiffs won a motion requiring the foundation to add their financial documents to discovery. This wasn't Brad Pitt's first legal loss in the case either. He had been trying to remove himself as a defendant for years, but to no avail. Pitt has obviously been dealing with other lawsuits, the one with his ex Angelina Jolie being the most publicly facing, but it's clear that he keeps trying to move past them and settle out of court. Reportedly, that was also considered in the case as well. In 2022, Global Green USA agreed to pay the entire $20.5 million on behalf of Brad Pitt and his foundation as a settlement. But according to a representative of the Ocean's 11 star, they were later shocked to learn that Global Green USA apparently didn't have enough funds to cover the settlement. Now the lawsuit has moved on to trying to dispose Pitt. The only issue with that is his incredibly busy and litigious schedule. At the time he was asked to physically appear before the court, he was traveling the world with the Formula One team and shooting F1, the movie. So they argued that if he were to miss any of the shooting days, that would have been a considerable loss for the production. Pitt also argued that his appearance before the court wouldn't bear any relevant information. The idea that one can just endanger the lives of people under the guise or in the guise of helping them, has left a bad taste in some of his fans' mouths. But as the plaintiffs comb through the financial documents, more answers will reveal themselves about how much they actually spent on on the construction and, more importantly, the extent of Pitt's involvement. And that is the end of the article right there. Um, man, when I tell you that the people down there that was in Hurricane Katrina got scammed and screwed every which way, I mean that. Them people needed help. Let's start with Bush, that delayed sending any type of aid or help to these people. Let's start there. That would be like after the local government, that would be the line that should open up and immediately help these people. But no, they sat, they waited, and people unfortunately died, missing. Some still missing to this day. A lot of people had to relocate, and a lot of other things that took place. The missing children. Okay, the missing children. I can remember when this was going on, and it was like they had. It's like everybody had turned their back on them, and everybody mostly, well, not I'm not gonna say mostly, but a great number of people that claimed to want to help them didn't help them at all. They didn't serve the community the way the community needed to be served. They didn't help the people the way that the people needed to be helped. It was a drastic difference between how aid was distributed, and help was available, resources were available, versus after Hurricane Katrina, after all the other hurricanes that came after Katrina and hit other parts of the country, and the response time of, when they got aid, the first people that was on the ground within hours, within days, and things of that nature, and the type of resources that were available and help that was available to these other people versus what the people of Hurricane Katrina got. And I always thought it was an injustice to those people. There's still currently Some people are still currently still trying to rebuild, um, you know, and still trying to get their lives back the way it used to be pre Hurricane Katrina. So I think it's very important, even though it's been years now that this has happened, that everybody that claimed they wanted to help them, claimed that they wanted to serve the community and, provide the resources and the housing or whatever the promise was to these people. I feel that they should have it. They should get it. Um, you know, even the state, the governor and them at the time, they could have did a better job. And as far in terms of a response, it was just a letdown for everybody in that situation. And the real victims of Hurricane Katrina is some of them are still suffering to this day. Some of them are still, some people have been able to rebuild their lives in other places, or been fortunate to rebuild their lives in another part. But ultimately, that's still a deep wound that has not closed. Um, you know, Me, a person that don't even live live in, down there, it's just heartbreaking. And they should keep their foot on the foundation and whoever else is responsible for this tragedy that happened. Um, Regardless of who they is, regardless if they're a celebrity, regardless of businessman or whatever. If you promise them people something, you should be able to make good on their promises. I don't care how long it takes. You know, those people need help. They still need help. Those people need, and it just seems like once it passed and everything, everybody that forgot, but it's a lot of us out here that remember Hurricane Katrina and the devastation and destruction of the weather and the poor, lackluster response, help, resources that were given to the people that doesn't go unnoticed for a lot of people. Um, people that don't even live there, like myself, people that just heard and saw what was going on in the news and was visibly angry because our government in any other place, it would have been a quick response within hours. Within hours, it would have been a response. You would have seen people on the ground helping, providing aid and things like that. And that just did not happen for Hurricane Katrina. My thoughts and prayers still go out to the families and the people that suffered through Hurricane Katrina. I pray that your life has gotten better. Um, and to the people that was lost, my extreme condolences to them and their families. So yeah, just really heartbreaking. But let me know what you guys think. Drop down in the comment section. I would definitely love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And with that, you guys, I'm about to head on out. But always remember, be good to yourself. And I'll talk to you in the next video.